The Galactic Defense Academy's training grounds buzzed with the usual mixture of nervous energy and competitive tension. Species from across the known galaxy had gathered here, their young warriors in training pushing themselves to prove their worth among the star's most elite military institution. General Vextar of the Thrakari Empire stood 8 feet tall, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the artificial suns. His forearms moved with practiced precision as he demonstrated combat techniques to the mixed species cohort. The Thrakari had been the galaxy's dominant military force for 3 millennia, their natural armor and superior strength making them nearly unbeatable in hand-to-hand combat. Among the cadets stood Marcus Chen, a human from the relatively new species that had recently joined the Galactic Alliance. At barely 6 feet tall and possessing what most aliens considered laughably soft skin, humans were often dismissed as weak additions to the cosmic community. They had no natural armor, no enhanced strength, no telepathic abilities, just stubborn determination and an unsettling tendency to survive impossible odds. "Combat is about dominance," General Vextar announced, his mandibles clicking with authority. "The weak submit to the strong. This is universal law." Marcus raised his hand. "With respect, General, I disagree." The training ground fell silent. Several cadets from warrior species stepped back, recognizing the dangerous shift in atmosphere. General Vextar's compound eyes fixed on the human with predatory focus. "You dare contradict me, soft flesh?" The general's voice dropped to a threatening hiss. "I'm saying combat isn't just about physical dominance," Marcus replied calmly. "Strategy, adaptability, and understanding your opponent matter more than raw strength." The Thrakari general's laugh was like grinding metal. "Foolish child, your species has been spacefaring for barely a century. We have conquered systems before your ancestors learned to make fire." "That's exactly my point," Marcus said, his voice steady despite the mounting tension. "You've been fighting the same way for millennia. Sometimes a fresh perspective." The slap came without warning. General Vextar's massive hand struck Marcus across the face with enough force to send a Valdorian tumbling. The sound echoed through the training ground like a thunderclap. Marcus stumbled but remained standing, a thin line of blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. "Know your place, human whelp," Vextar snarled. "Your soft species will never—" What happened next would be studied in military academies for generations. Marcus didn't attack in rage or strike back with obvious aggression. Instead, something shifted in his posture, subtle but unmistakable to anyone who had studied human behavior. His breathing changed, his stance adjusted almost imperceptibly. Most importantly, his eyes changed from the warm brown of a young cadet to something far older and infinitely more dangerous. "General," Marcus said quietly, his voice carrying an authority that shouldn't have been possible from someone so young. "I need you to step back, now." Vextar laughed, but the sound died in his throat as he met the human's gaze. There was something there, something that made his ancient warrior instincts scream warnings. "What are you?" the general whispered. "Just a human," Marcus replied, taking a single step forward. That step was everything. It wasn't aggressive or threatening by any obvious measure, but every predator instinct in Vextar's body suddenly understood that he was no longer the apex threat in this space. The human moved with the fluid certainty of someone who had calculated 17 different ways to end the encounter in the next 3 seconds. "You want to know what makes humans dangerous, General?" Marcus's voice remained conversational, almost friendly. "It's not our strength or our armor. It's that every single one of us is descended from survivors of the worst apocalypse our planet could throw at us. We crawled out of caves, survived ice ages, plagues, and wars that would have wiped out most species." Another step. Vextar found himself backing away without conscious decision. "We turned persistence hunting into an art form. We ran down creatures 10 times our size until they collapsed from exhaustion. We made tools from everything, weapons from anything. We learned to kill with rocks and sticks, and when we ran out of natural predators, we became our own worst enemy, just to stay sharp." The training ground was absolutely silent. Even the usually chattering Zephyrian cadets had stopped their constant mental chatter. "But here's the thing that really should worry you, General." Marcus smiled and several cadets shivered. "I'm not even from the military caste. I'm from New Geneva, one of our most peaceful colonies. I've never seen real combat. I'm just a kid who grew up on stories of what humans can do when they're properly motivated." Vextar's mandibles trembled. In 3 millennia of military service, he had never felt fear like this. The human hadn't made a single threatening move, hadn't even raised his voice, but every survival instinct the Thrakari possessed was screaming at him to submit, to appease, to survive. "I'm sorry," Vextar whispered, his voice barely audible. "Please, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry." Marcus nodded and stepped back, his posture returning to that of a normal cadet. "Thank you, General. I appreciate the apology." The spell broke, but its effects lingered. Throughout the training ground, alien cadets looked at their human classmates with new eyes. They had just witnessed something that would reshape their understanding of the species that had quietly joined their galactic community. As training resumed, General Vextar found himself watching Marcus with fascination rather than contempt. The human continued his exercises with the same determined mediocrity he had shown before, but now the general understood what lay beneath that unremarkable exterior. Later, in his private quarters, Vextar made a note in his official report. Recommend immediate revision of human assessment protocols. Previous classifications grossly inadequate. These are not prey animals that learn to use tools. These are apex predators that learn to be civilized. Handle accordingly. The next day, human applications to the Galactic Defense Academy increased by 300%. No one ever explained why.